morning. As you can see, I got 4 more minutes to get myself together, to find my teeth, take my little thing off, right? But I got to go find my teeth, and if I don't, I'll be back. But in the meantime, this song is dedicated to my son, Dr. Dwight Kenneth Thackeray, and all of you who don't believe. When God delivers, he delivers. I won't go back. All right. I'm going to find my teeth, okay? Y'all know I'm transparent, so good. Y'all ain't surprised. But listen to these words. Listen to the song, okay? I won't go back while I go find my teeth. I'll be back.
In the presence of the Lord, I've been free, delivered, and in your presence, Lord, I found joy, grace, and favor, and right now, today, I've been changed. I've been changed, and I have waited for this moment to come, and I won't let it pass me by. So we say, I won't go back, can't go back to the way it used to be. For your presence came and changed. Say I won't go, I can't go back to the way it used to be. For your presence came and changed all my shame. They've been forgiven. No more chains. My past is over. It's over. Say right now. Today. I've been changed. Come on, somebody declare that. I've been changed. I have waited for this moment right here. I've waited all my life. So we say,
I won't go back. I've been changed, delivered. I won't go back. Welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Great morning. Our Creator gifted you with life this day, this moment, that will never, ever present itself again. So be grateful that he chose to wake you up this morning, and he chose to wake me up this morning. I'm so glad I've been chosen. And to him, I give him all the glory, which is why I won't go back. 31 and a half years ago underneath that parked car. I won't go back. Yes. And I thank God through the 12-step spiritual program that has given me everything I needed so that I won't go back. Even if I wanted to, I don't even want to go back. I only go back to find out what happened and how I can help somebody else. So today is January the 10th. This is the AA Daily Reflections. The topic is United We Stand, and you're going to get Edwina B's perspective. And so, as usual, I want to thank God for this day. You see, I have my family surrounding me. Yes, my ancestors. Yes, my mother, my father, my sisters, my brothers, my family that God gave me. We don't choose our family. We choose our friends. So if you want to be reminded why you have to stay united, is because God put us all together for a reason. And it is this life's journey to find out what it is so that we can build a legacy for the future generations. So, united we stand. So with Alcoholics Anonymous, you need to know I do not represent Alcoholics Anonymous. No, I don't. But I've been a proud, grateful, and humble member for over 31 plus years. And if it's God's will that He spares me and let me live until February the 23rd of 2022, we will be celebrating 32 years of recovery. I will be recovering till the day God calls me home and brings me back to deal with the lessons I didn't learn and to implement the lessons I did learn, all to save one more soul, to bring one more child back home to Him. That's all. We were born to serve. So I want to get right to our topic. January the 10th, AA Daily Reflections reading for today is focused on United We Stand. You're going to get the quote from where this title was extracted from. With the AA literature, these glasses are something, right? So I'll take them off for a minute, right? And then you're going to get an alcoholic's view and perspective, right, on that quote. And then I'm going to give you my perspective. What's just as important as you marinate, read, listen, embrace, internalize this message for today, it can help you deal with anything that life deals with you today. Because ultimately, we know who the dealer is. I thank God for my meditation with my angel, I call her, Tamika Strickland. I listen to every morning, sitting at my window with the window open, my cup of coffee, and just sitting there in my secret closet and thanking God for the awesomeness of being able to breathe, to see, to feel, to touch. Every morning, one day at a time, I give my God His time because He chose me. And I thank God just one day at a time. I repeat what I did the day before that worked with the new challenges for this day. He gives us our daily bread. So let's get to the topic. All right, so can you put these glasses on a little right? All right, so here we go now. Now, as usual, I want you to get into a stance of just being right now. Be present, right? And if you like, I would like you to just close your eyes, and I want you to listen to what I'm about to read to you, right? And then I want you to open your eyes, and we're going to read it together. And then we're going to internalize it, and we're going to break it down, all right? So close your eyes and just listen. as I read the daily reflection for today. Okay. It reads, let's see, January the 10th. United we stand. We learned that we had to fully concede to our innermost selves that we were alcoholics. This is the first step in recovery. The delusion that we are like other people or presently maybe has to be smashed. This comes from Alcoholics Anonymous, Big Book, page 30. And the writer shares his perspectives. I came to Alcoholics Anonymous because I was no longer able to control my drinking. It was either my wife's complaining about my drinking, or maybe the sheriff forced me to go to AA meetings, or perhaps I knew deep down inside that I couldn't drink like others, but I was unwilling to admit it because the alternative terrified me. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women united against a common fatal disease. Each one of our lives is linked to each other or every other, much like the survivors on a life raft at sea. If we all work together, we can get safely to shore. All right? And so, what I would like for us to do is to read this together. All right? And this time, you may have listened and you may be hearing it, but I want you to read it with me and allow your emotions to feel what is being said. Okay, January the 10th, this day, united we stand. We learned that we had to fully concede to our innermost selves that we were alcoholics. This is the first step in recovery. The delusion that we are like other people or presently maybe has to be smashed. Comes from AA Big Book, page 30. So go back to that page and read the before and after paragraph. As a matter of fact, read the whole chapter. And the recovering alcoholic writes his perspective. I came to Alcoholics Anonymous because I was no longer able to control my drinking. It was either my wife's complaining about my drinking, or maybe the sheriff forced me to go to AA meetings, or perhaps I knew deep down inside that I couldn't drink like others. But I was unwilling to admit it because the alternative terrified me. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women united against a common fatal disease. Each one of our lives is linked to every other, much like the survivors on a life raft at sea. If we all work together, we can safely get to shore. All right? And so when it talks about I must concede, I must concede, right? Right? Fully within my innermost self that I am an alcoholic. People say to me, Edwina, you're not drinking. You're not an alcoholic. You're not drinking. No, I'm not today. But if I was to pick up another drink, I will pick up where I left off at. Therefore, that very sense of, that very sense of something that is laying dormant. That's laying dormant. I pick up that drink again, I will go back to where I left off. Therefore, I am an alcoholic. I used to be embarrassed about saying I'm an alcoholic. Nobody wants to admit they have been defeated. Nobody wants to admit I can't control this, I can't control that. More or less, I can't control. I can control. Is the realization that we as alcoholics come to realize, come to accept. And when we accept it in our innermost being, we know that we can never drink again one day at a time. Why? Because we have a fatal disease called alcoholism. I can't tell you when I crossed the line from social drinking to alcoholic drinking because it was progressive. So it said we learned. That means that coming into Alcoholics Anonymous with those old attitudes, ideas, and behaviors, right? We think we know everything about ourselves. We think we had it going on. We think we know what's best for us. Then why are we here in Alcoholics Anonymous? So it says we learned. That means through that humiliating experience of our last run, our bottom. For me, underneath that parked car 31 plus years ago, I thought I knew everything about me. I thought I knew I had it going on. I thought I was the chips and the dip, as my pastor Bullock would say. But where did Edwina find herself 31 plus years ago underneath a parked car? So how much did I really know about Edwina? So through that humiliating experience, and I hollered out to this God that I didn't know to take me out this life or show me a better way, meaning I had to learn something different. I had to unlearn what I learned and be willing to learn something new. So we learned that we had to fully, do you know what fully means? Completely, fully, no holes, no peeps, no cracks, fully concede. I surrender. I have a made up mind. I am tired. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back underneath that parked car. Yes. So we concede fully to our innermost selves that we were alcoholics. They say this is the first step to recovery. And so don't get it twisted that when it says we were alcoholics, we were alcoholics who were drinking, right? So I know I am an alcoholic. I know I have the disease of alcoholism. Just because I put down the drink, I still have the isms of that disease. And that's why we have to learn more about this disease of alcoholism so that we can fully concede to our innermost selves that tomorrow, today, yesterday, I am an alcoholic. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And I'm proud to be an alcoholic. Out of all the diseases that we are plagued with as humans, I'm glad I have the disease of alcoholism. I am grateful to be an alcoholic in recovery, because I won't forget where it took me. I don't want to go back. So if I ever forget that I'm an alcoholic, I will go back and start drinking again. Hell to the no. I won't go back to the way I used to be. No. Prostituting, being raped, passed around like a bucket, spit on, called all kinds of names. Family ashamed of me. My children want to disown me. Even my son today, 31 plus years later, has doubt in his spirit that I will pick up again. Believe it or not, yes, he does. So when I say that our disease not just affects us, but it affects our children. My son, Dr. Dwight Kenneth Dockery, the second, knows all the accomplishments, right? Knows all about what the people in the community are saying, but yet he feels within his spirit that his mom is going back. He's waiting for the day that I pick up again. He even said that in a group. Yes. So within my most inner self, I know I'm an alcoholic, and I know that I won't go back, regardless of what my son believes and feels, regardless of what others believe and feel, regardless of those naysayers, those haters that are waiting for people like us to fall back. Huh? My truck had broke down one day, and I started walking to the meeting. Yes, because God said, listen, any way, shape, form, or fashion, you get there. My son passes by, is coming down the street in his truck, and I flag him down. I say, son, mama's truck is broke down. Can you give me a ride to the meeting? He shook his head. Okay. I kept walking. I don't need the meeting for him. I need the meeting for me. I kept walking. And yes, I picked up the phone and called somebody else, and I was able to make my meeting, even if I had to walk all the way there. All right? So we know within our innermost self, we cannot have the idea that we can drink again, because this is the first step in recovery. The delusion that we are like other people, or presently maybe, has to be smashed, right? How many of you, like me, would always compare ourselves to other people, right? Well, he can drink, I can drink. He can pick it up and put it down, and he can go home and pay his bills. And guess what? I did that in the beginning too. Yes. So what's the difference between that person and me? I don't know. I don't know. But I know what happened to me. That the more I tried to be like others, the more I tried to drink like others, the more I tried to imitate others, the more I tried to hang out with others, the more I drank. They kept drinking, but the disease of alcoholism didn't get them. It got me. Right? And so I am not like them, but I was out there trying to prove that I was. So that delusion that I'm like other people when it comes to drinking, past, present, and even in the future, has to be smashed. That's why we shared yesterday, I have a choice that no matter what, I can drink. And guess what? I don't even want to drink, even if I could. Hell to the no. No, I do not. Okay? So let's see what else he says. This writer. He says, like me, underneath that parked car, I came to Alcoholics Anonymous because I was no longer able to control my drinking. Do you have enough humility that when you see you are out of control with something, when you see that you no longer have the power, never did and never had control, but right, the illusion that you did, right? When you no longer see that you have it, what do you do? What knee-bowing experience will you have? I had one. This gentleman had one. We recognized I could not stop drinking. I tried substituting one for another, right? But the disease of alcoholism is twofold. It's an obsession that I'm thinking about drinking. And once I pick up that first drink, I cannot stop anymore. I used to, but guess what? The disease of alcoholism is progressive. So it got to the point where I had to have a drink. I was consumed with it. I couldn't face life without it, right? My body had built up a tolerance, so I needed more and more and more. But the more I drank, right? The deeper I was digging my hole, but I thought I still had control. I still thought I could stop. But underneath that parked car 31 years ago, I couldn't stop drinking. Now, we know that people in our family, like I shared yesterday, you have your wife, your husband, your boss complaining about your drinking. You know, you may have gotten DUIs and all of those kind of stuff, right? You may have thought that people was picking on you. The family was, asking you what was wrong. And my family did the same thing, like, Edwina, what is wrong with you? You are supposed to be the smartest one in the family. What happened to you? What's wrong with you? They complaining, they challenging, and we're saying, oh, I'm just going through a little something. Like, what's his name? Richard Pryor. When the guy asked him, man, how long you been smoking crack? The guy said, oh, well, Richard said, I ain't got no problem. No, I ain't got no problem. I'm cool. But the guy said, well, how long you been smoking it? So Richard Pryor said 15 years. And that ain't a problem. So even though we are being bombarded with what our family members are saying, what the law enforcement are doing with us, what our jobs are telling us, the threats and all of that stuff, we know, and it says it right down here, y'all. He says it right here. He says, I knew deep down inside that I couldn't drink like others. But I was unwilling to admit it because the alternative terrified me. Do you hear what he's saying? The alternative terrified me, right? I don't like no distractions, right? And so when you have the disease of alcoholism, if you have the disease of sex, the disease of lusting and all those kind of things, huh? When you are in it, you are enjoying it, and for whatever reason, you got to have it, right? And the thought of not having it, even when it breaks you down, even when it's killing you, even when it's causing problems, you think you wanna to put it down, and you can't put it down, because if you put it down, what's gonna happen? It terrifies us that people with this disease of alcoholism. You mean I can't drink ever again? I can't deal with life without a drink. How am I gonna get through this? How am I gonna get through that? How am I gonna do this? What? It terrifies us. Why? Because we don't have additional information. We are being stuck. We are being stuck with old information, old habits, old attitudes, old ideas, which is why we have to hit bottom. We have to hit bottom. And they raised the bottom for some of us to meet, but we have to hit bottom. In order for us to realize that I can't drink like other people. And even though it terrifies me, I have to find another way, because if I keep drinking, it's going to kill me, right? If I don't drink and want to drink, it's going to kill me. So what is our alternative? And it says here, Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women united against a common fatal disease. Alcoholics Anonymous is a spiritual fellowship united in our common problem with this fatal disease of alcoholism. People, how many people have you known have died as a result of drinking too much? How many people have you heard about the conditions, the deterioration of their body, mind, spirit, souls as a result of alcoholism? It is a fatal disease. If I would have kept drinking like some, I would have died. I had to drink. I must drink, right? I know it's killing me, but I can't do without it. It's a fatal disease. So we come to Alcoholics Anonymous in one way, shape, form, or fashion. And I tell you why. Because we were chosen. People in recovery, people who are coming to recovery, God has already chosen you. Believe it or not, because he already knows what he has planned for you. He already knows what you got to go through. He already knows what he's preparing for you. We were chosen. And all we had to do was to yield to the humiliation and be totally, fully convinced I can't do this. And I need help. Well, Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship, a spiritual fellowship with spiritual principles, right? United with our common understanding and acceptance of our fatal disease of alcoholism. I ain't got but a minute or so. So let me end by saying this. It says each one of our lives is linked to every other, much like the survivors of a life raft at sea. If we all work together, we can get safely to shore, They have in one of our stories, right? We have a ship got shipwrecked, right? And 5 people were on a raft, right? And so when everybody was starting to panic, everybody started grabbing this and grabbing that and grabbing this. But when they realized that everything they grabbed was going to help them sink, so each one of them had to relinquish what they thought they needed, what they thought they wanted, so that this just them could be on the raft. The little bit of food that they had, one person couldn't eat it all because the other 4 what needed too. But that one who said, well, if I eat it all, I'm on the same raft. And they don't get the strength, to eat, to help save me, and I help save them. Woo. And guess what? One of them did fall off. But the others recognize that if we stay united, if we stick together, if we help one another 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day at a time, we can stay sober and we can help another alcoholic achieve sobriety. That's all our God asks us to do. His gift to us was sobriety. What is our gift to him? Stay sober. Edwina, in any way, shape, form, or fashion, you know how to stay sober because you have the spiritual tools to use. Once you use those spiritual tools, you will be prepared to help another alcoholic achieve sobriety. So that's why, united, we stand in the spiritual fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous, based on spiritual principles, not religion, spiritual principles. There is a difference. Donald Lawrence says, and I'll close with this, you are not a natural being having a spiritual experience. No, you are a spiritual being encased and walking this natural experience here on this earthly journey. So when we begin to apply spiritual principles to earthly conditions, we can stay sober, we can help another alcoholic achieve sobriety, and we can stay united. Have a good day. Wear your mask. Get vaccinated. Get your children vaccinated. Get your booster. Social distancing, right? Get tested. United, we can stand against this Omicron, COVID, whatever. We can stand united if each and every one of us took care of ourselves so we can be able to take care of others. Be safe, and be safe. Thank you, Lord.